All right. Okay, here we go. Yep, we're ready. All righty. Let's see. We're live and we have the Audacity's recording. Audacity's recording. We're going to the show. 3, 2, 1. Are we live yet? Nope. Okay, welcome to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. We are broadcasting live. We're at State Talk Radio. It's a privilege and pleasure to be with you again out here. We're going to talk a lot actually about Joe Biden and his lies. And yesterday it was really interesting to hear folks talking about Joe Biden and the many transgressions that he's had over the last few days. You know, I look at this guy, and they put him up on a pedestal. They go, oh my God, Joe Biden. I'm like, whoa, what's the deal on Joe Biden? I mean, what makes Joe Biden so great? Well, the answer is really nothing. I mean, this is a guy who's done little or anything for the American people. And as we look at his record, as we look at what he's done for the American people or have not done for the American people, it becomes very clear. Now, the fact that he and Hunter Biden have used the family name to enrich themselves, I think that's part of the Washington two-step. Or how else could Barack Obama, among others, I mean, I'm pointing out Barack, but many others have done the same thing, gone to Washington. But when Barack went in the White House and he revealed his net worth papers, it said he was worth $600,000. He left, he was worth $12 million. Now, how does this happen if the president's not has his assets in a blind trust? Not that the Barack and the Obamas had any assets to speak of. At the end of the day, they lived pretty much paycheck to paycheck on Barack's Senate salary and Michelle's salary from University of Chicago. I've opened up the telephone lines, I think. See, did I open up the telephone lines? Yeah, I think I opened up the telephone lines. Yep, they're open. And you can call in 215-867-8255 and share your thoughts. But how do these guys go to Washington? $600,000 net worth. It comes out $12 million in 8 years. That's a hell of a investment return, don't you think? I think so. I think most people would. Even, I mean, you couldn't do that well if you played the lottery. So I'm going to take a little break and play a little opening music that I missed playing, kind of get me in the mood to do a couple of things. But bear with me. I'll be right back. Okay, folks, we're back. Just had to put a little Gil Scott here and get in the mood to ramp it up, because every time I think about that song, I think about the time I was growing up in Detroit and how relevant that song was during the day. And, it's still relevant today. Still have the same issues. We have a shooting I think it's in Milwaukee, where this young lady was shot, and she was on TV. She's pretty shaken up. She'd been shot several times by police. And, I don't know all the details around the shooting. I don't know why her boyfriend tried to outrun the cops with her in the car and their child in the car. But there was no gun in the car. There were no shots fired at the police officers. But they riddled this car with bullets. So they were immediately fired from the police department for breaching procedures and protocol. I didn't say that. The police department said that. Now, that doesn't happen often, that the police jump up and jump out and just take someone else's side, takes the accused side. You don't really see that a lot. I was surprised. I was saddened, because these people, after all, they have to live with what happened to them. And it was tragic. It was really tragic. I watched the story. I've been following the story. In fact, I was looking for an update on the story before we came on, and I just didn't find one. Shooting in Milwaukee. It's and then you had the shooting in Philadelphia. The young man with the knife who was walking towards the cops with the knife. I mean, really? Woo, boy, I tell you, I would not want to be a cop today. So in Milwaukee, they shot this young man. I think it was Milwaukee police. Let me put down here cop shooting, because they're talking about all the other shootings. Like 9 people were shot in Milwaukee over the weekend, 2 dead. They're trying to get up here with Chicago. Bailey shoots a man who fired at the police. Yeah, you're going to get shot, dude. Shooting at the police. South Milwaukee, dude was shooting at the policeman. They shot. He threatened to kill himself, then fired at the officers. They took him out. Okay. No charges for the officers in killing a black teen. Okay. Officer not charged in the failed shooting. I don't know. I don't know which one of these we're talking about today. It's just amazing. You have folks. We have folks who are being shot in Philly, and they're rioting in Philly. There's no reason to riot. These people are rioting because they're getting stuff. They're getting free stuff. They're just creating an environment, and it's only a few people. They're creating an environment of tyranny that the people in the neighborhood don't want. These are outside agitators. These are people who come in, and they say these people have appeared after the protest. These people appeared. These looters appeared after the protest, smashing windows and stealing stuff. Totally organized. Totally bust in from somewhere. Amazing. It's but it needs to be dealt with. And I guess in Philadelphia, the governor's already called out the National Guard. How about that? Wow. You have these people playing with guns who know nothing about guns. Tinley Park young man, they call him a man. He's 18. He's a boy. Tinley Park man, they say, charged after accidentally shooting a friend. I mean, really? A man 51 injured after falling from train tracks onto the street on the west side. Ooh. Florida's added to Chicago's quarantine requirement list this week. Michigan could be next. They're trying to slow down people traveling between Illinois and Michigan for the holidays, because a lot of people here in Illinois have homes in Michigan. And they want to try to slow it down, supposedly, I guess. Switches gears to make a balance. Wow. WeatherTech, the maker, WeatherTech is located here in the Chicagoland area. They're going to make floor mats now. How about that? Oof. Blindsided and heartbroken, says some of these restaurant owners. A bar owner's dismissal of COVID restrictions are back in suburban Cook County. Wow. Now, a lady fatally shoots a burglar who broke into her garage in Marquette Park, black part of town. Shot him. Hey, that's concealed carry. That's having guns. That's calling 911 would not do, because that's low priority for cops. Okay, it's a break-in, no lives involved. Is she in danger? Oh no. Okay, so what? You got a strange person in your house stealing. They needed more than you do. That's how the cops kind of treat black folks. Yeah, so what? That's how they police in our areas, and that's why people want more police. Don't believe the newspapers. Don't believe the pundits. Black people want more police in their communities. Let's be clear. You can go. I can do a poll standing on any street corner in the South Side or the West Side, and they'll tell you we want more police, and we want the police to lock these people up. That's what they will tell you. The lawlessness in the black community since the civil rights movement is unconscionable. Unconscionable. Even before the civil rights movement, but it became just so blatant because, well, you're black and you're not supposed to tell on your brother. They're not my brothers. They're not my Masonic brothers. They're not my biological brothers. They're not my fraternal brothers. So what brothers are they? None. Oh man, you can't beat this stuff. Oh, there's so much stuff that's going on here in California, in Chicago, California is where I want to be. Here in Chicago. And when you look at this, when you look at what's going on, I'm gonna get to Joe Biden in a minute. I got some good stuff on Joe Biden. You will not believe the kind of stuff I have on Joe Biden today. About 46 minutes. No, actually, she got to go the other way. Okay. There we go. So, but before we do that, now, if you're an American, and I am an all-American boy, you cut me, I bleed red, white, and blue. I'm an American boy. I love America. I love everything about this country. So what they wanted to say is, what are the healthiest and unhealthiest store-bought hot dogs out there? Okay. So I'm going to give you a little glimpse. I wish I could put this up, but Organic Prairie, uncured, Ballpark Franks, they're the unhealthiest, all beef, unhealthiest. Ballpark Franks, I hate that. All beef, unhealthiest. They're called Sebarth Natural Casing Hot Dogs, Windmill. That's what they go by. Hebrew, the healthiest, Hebrew national hot dogs. Healthy. 97% fat free. Got to find them though. You got to go. They have a store over off of Fullerton and Damon. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Low fat, healthiest, boarhead, light beef frankfurters. Unhealthiest, Ballpark, but they're so good. Then healthiest, Applegate natural stadium hot dogs. Love them to death. Healthiest, again, Oscar Mayer. I love Oscar Mayer hot dogs. Love them. I'm going to do unhealthiest. Boarhead, unhealthiest. Okay. Well, that's enough of healthy and unhealthy right now. Foster Farm. Whenever you see Ballpark, just know whether it's turkey or beef. unhealthy. Oh, amazing. So look, let's talk about Joe Biden. There's a man, and I latched on to Tony uh, because his name is Tony uh, Bullini, and Tony has been very clear over the last 5 or 6 days about his relationship with the Bidens and how Joe Biden knew about the Hunter Biden money uh, laundering or money gathering fiascos. The question is, how involved was Joe? Joe said, I didn't know anything about it. But Joe is a prolific liar. He lies all the time. But the problem is, no one calls him one. That's the problem. No one calls him one. Like you say, I'm not going to backtrack you, but I want you to listen to Tony about how he decided to go public. And when you hear this man, he's like, all they had to say was no comment, but they tried to label me as lying and tried to pull me into their criminal enterprise. So listen, this is Tony Belinsky. Let's play it. Extremely well documented. Not documented, folks. Extremely well documented. Whoa. Extremely well. And look, when he did his press conference, he said, hey, these are phones that have been in my possession. They haven't been, sent to the FBI. I'm taking these over to the FBI. Wrong place to take them. They will come up missing. They will come up erased. This is the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations. They're in the pocket of Democrats. The deep state is at work. Salk and all these other people, Ray. They sat on this information for over a year. They had this information back in November of last year. They sat on it. They sat on it all summer. They sat on it through the Mueller hearings. They sat on it. Why? Because Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are crooks. But they're no bigger crooks than anyone else in Washington. Just got caught. See, that's the whole nexus of playing this game. They play this game. And it's a game that I chose not to play as a young man because I had no cover. See, my daddy wasn't Joe Biden, or my daddy wasn't Ted Kennedy, or my daddy wasn't Trent Lott. When those are your daddies, people look the other way. You don't get prosecuted and go to prison. You get, you made a mistake. It was a bad error on your part. It showed poor judgment, but it doesn't rise to the level of criminality. See, they decide what criminality is. It's not about the law. They decide what criminality is, and it changes. It changes per who the person is. It's like in Chicago. If you want to get a job in Chicago, who sent you? The right person didn't send you, you don't get a job. That's today here in Chicago. Taxpayer dollars. Tax doesn't make any difference. In Chicago, taxpayer dollars, it's hard for a person to walk in and get a job. today. Still that nepotism BS going on, and they're not interested in breaking it. They're not interested in a fair field, level playing field for anyone, because the people who are in charge feel that they're due. It's their time. You know, it was the Irish's time. Then it was black folks kind of halfway, part-time, third time, flexible time. Now the Latinos are coming in, and they're like locusts. They are cleaning out. And if you put one in, they're 20. So, hey, they're not playing around. They say it's our time. That's what they say when you talk to them. Well, it's our time. Black people, move out of the way. It's our time. Like they were an oppressed minority, like they were descendants of slaves. No, they weren't. White men married them. They called them and designated them a Caucasian. And I'm not belittling that point. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not belittling that. I'm not begrudging Latinos being called Caucasians and being treated as Caucasian. But don't tell me that you are an oppressed minority. It's bullshit. You know, people love your women. You know, they love your food. They love your culture. You know, you're very family oriented. Given the fact you produce like rabbits, very family oriented. I like that. But anyway, and I love Latino women. Don't get me wrong. Then you guys, you Latino guys, you can, you know, kind of disappear, especially, you know, yeah. When you talk about tall, dark, and handsome, I thought they were talking about me, but no, they were talking about Latinos and they were talking about Italians. Hey, anyway, hey, look, call me 800. I'm sorry, not 800, 215 867 8255. 800-215-867-8255. Just pick up the phone, give me a call, and you'll be on with me. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to bust you out. Hey, but I do want to bust Joe Biden out a little bit. Joe Biden and his criminal enterprise said that Tony Belinsky was a traitor. He was a Soviet plant. He was a Russian plant. Listen to this. This is what pissed the guy off. Wow. Wow. Called him a traitor. Pissed the boy off. So so he came out and he publicly has been castigating and presenting documentation. He's just not making hollow accusations. He is providing documents. He's providing tape recordings. This guy is the real deal. He's not playing around. I love it. But nobody's covering it. The question becomes why? Why are they taking up for Joe Biden? Why are they hiding this information about Joe and Hunter Biden? Well, they want to win the election. The problem with that is, and we're going to talk about this later in the week, probably Friday. The problem with these polls is that they lean very heavily Democratic. Now, think about this for a moment, just a moment. Have you ever been polled? Do you know anyone who's been polled? The answer is probably no. I've never been polled. I don't know anyone who's been polled. When Bill Clinton started managing our country per opinion polls, the first thing I said was, I've never been polled. Who are they talking to? How can they come with these conclusions when nobody that I know has been polled? Think about it. So when they talk about the polls, and the polls say that Joe Biden's ahead by 13%, 13 points in Michigan, and you can't find a Biden sign anywhere. My friends tell me in Michigan, you can't find a Biden sign. Here in Chicago, I go through Democrat neighborhoods. I don't see many Biden signs. In fact, I'm going to take a little trip this afternoon to what should be Biden country. Won't see many Biden signs. Anyway, just saying. And the reason I'm saying that is because Joe Biden's going to lose in the landslide. And liberals are going to go berserk. Now, why are they going to go berserk? Why is Joe Biden going to lose in the landslide? Great question, huh? Well, Joe sold us out. Joe sold us out to the Chinese. Joe sold us out to the Middle Eastern interests, which pumped millions of dollars into his campaigns over the years. And people forget that Joe wants to ban fracking. But Joe told us that. Joe says, wait a minute. I'm going to ban fracking. And he said, he told his group, this audience, oh, no, it's just banning fracking on government property. No, that's not quite. He said, I'm going to eliminate all fossil fuels. I mean, he just gets all into it, lowers his voice, tries to be adamant. What? Joe, get it out, dude. He's telling so many lies he can't keep up with them. What? I'm gonna play that one more time. Exactly. I'm going to stop the pipeline. I'm going to stop fracking. We're going to end fossil fuels. But no, I didn't say that. I didn't mean it that way. You heard me wrong. Don't believe your lying ears. See, the moderator tried to stop Trump from making the point that Biden had just said, I'm going to kill the oil industry. Now, the moderator, the interviewer, she knew exactly what Biden had done. She knew exactly that was a major gaffe. She knew exactly that was not what people in Texas, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania wanted to hear. She knew that immediately. Mr. President, would you please don't say anything about that, Mr. President. Let's ignore the fact that Joe Biden just told 40 electoral voting states that he opposed fracking. He's going to take away their jobs, take away their income, destroy their way of life. Just please be quiet, Mr. President. See, that's the way they work. That's how they work on the people. That's how they work on us. That's what's going on out here in America today. We're being censored. And, you can talk about Fox News, and you can talk about some of these shows, but see, Fox has been totally compromised. You look at the people, you look at the guests, and you go, whoopee. You got, what's his name? Karl Rove. Karl's a never Trumper, almost. But he's getting paid these big bucks, so he can really be a never Trumper because the bucks are flowing in. You have to remember that the bucks are flowing in. I just wanted to throw that out there. The bucks are flowing in. Okay? So we're going to throw that out there. Now, but Biden keeps lying. He says, fracking. No, I did not. No, fracking. I never said that I was going to end fracking. No, I never said that. These people commit these faux pas all the time, and they get away with it. Like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden talking about voter fraud. And Kamala saying that Trump would not condone white supremacists. Do you understand? She meant to say that Donald Trump condones white supremacists, but he doesn't. And he always says, I don't condone white supremacy. But they twist his words, right? And regardless of what he says, they still tell the same lie. So let's listen to Biden talk about voter fraud. And he tells us that he's assembled, and the Democrats have assembled, the best voter fraud organization ever in history. You don't believe me, do you? You guys out there, you don't believe he said that, right? Here's Joe Biden. I'm going to get to Kamala in a minute. Did you hear Joe Biden? We put together the best voter fraud organization ever. Listen. Oops. And he's telling the truth. They really have. This mail-in ballot crap. I don't believe in mail-in ballots. I don't believe that they're going to all be counted. I don't believe they're all going to reach their destinations. It's just what I believe. I have no facts to back that up. It's just a gut feeling. I'm voting on the date we're supposed to vote. That's when Charles Butler is voting. So let's go to Kamala Harris and her Freudian slip. Yeah, he did refuse to condone white supremacists. That's exactly right, Kamala. He refused to condone white supremacists. See, that's what happens when you tell the truth. The truth always manages to kind of slip out there, and it slipped out on these people. Joe's often been accused of trying to take Medicare, Medicaid, Veterans Care, Social Security away from the American people. I remember the benefits they took from vets after Vietnam. I remember that World War II vets were promised education benefits for a lifetime. They put limits on all that stuff for vets in the Vietnam War and subsequent wars. The question is why? This was done by people who never served in the military. When you ask how many congressmen and women have served in the military, I bet you it's less than 2%. It's a question I may have to ask my little handy dandy uh, device here, because it kind of let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. Come on. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. 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 All right. I'm going to ask a question. And that question will be, okay, what is that question? The question is going to be, how many congressmen and women have served in the United States military? Dun, 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 dun. To date, only 8 members. Only 8 members of the Congress have served in the United States prior to serving in Congress. Wow. Out of 100 senators, 24 have served in the military. And I guess in the House, less than only 8 out of those 400 and some people. Wow, amazing. 24. Interesting. This is an old list. As of 2020, because they went back and got people who served years ago, like they have John Kerry in here. John Kerry's not in office anymore. John McCain, okay. But anyway, you see Ted Kennedy. They say he served in the military. And served in the military. He was a member of the Democratic Party. Succeeded. They don't say anything about him serving in the military. No, he didn't serve in the military. Anyway, branch of service, yeah, U.S. Army. He served for 2 years. He got drafted 51 to 53. He got drafted. That's back when we had a draft and everybody had to serve regardless of how much money you had. So Teddy probably went in as an officer and, had a great 2 years. I know I did. I had a wonderful, wonderful time. Hey, look, but Joe Biden tried to take money away from the military, away from the vets, but he's denied this. He denies it all the time. And we have him on tape. I remember this guy back from the 90s, man. I remember him in the 70s. He was in the Senate for 40 some odd years. Here we go. Play it. Go to YouTube. What did Bernie say? Go to YouTube. It's all over the place. The guy tried to cut Social Security. He tried to cut vets benefits. He tried to cut Medicare, Medicaid. He's a liar. Who does Joe Biden really support? Is it the American people? That doesn't sound very American to me. Maybe then again, something's wrong with me. I don't know. But he doesn't sound very patriotic to me. Let me play a little bit. Go play a couple of more things by Joe Biden. Joe Biden he can be a real nasty individual too. And let me just say this: when I talk about him not being patriotic, let's just play this clip on he and China and NAFTA and yeah, I mean these are things out of Biden's mouth. I didn't make these things up. Let's do it. Oops, the power of the video, the power of the body cam. If we didn't have these things, you couldn't make these statements. Let's do it. Do you guys remember that? China's not our enemy. China's not our enemy. It's Russia. Russia's our, well, Russia didn't pay Joe Biden. See, if Russia had paid Joe Biden, it'd be a different story. But Russia didn't pay Joe Biden. Oh, well, Russia's our worst enemy. Oh my God. Hey, folks, don't forget to like me and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe to the channel, whenever I come on, it pops up and says, hey, Charles is going live. So we got to get more people out here. We got to get more people into our mix. I'm gonna expand the platform here shortly to a platform called ER Stream. So we'll be streaming live on Facebook, several platforms. So, sound like Joe Biden doing that. You can't help but make this stuff up. But let's finish Joe Biden in China. Wow, Joe Biden told the truth. Trump's trade agreement with the North American Mexico-Canada deal is better than NAFTA. He told the truth. Can you believe that? Oh my God. No wonder it snowed in Chicago this week. Joe Biden told the truth for once. But when you talk about Joe is a cantankerous little dude. You know, he has a little attitude to him, a little edge. He tries to control. I saw Saturday Night Live, and Jim, what's his name? Carrey? Jim Carrey. Jim Carvey. He was Joe Biden, and I tell you, he had Joe down cold, man. He was talking about anger management. I was laughing so damn hard. I fell asleep laughing. Sounds a little like Denny Green there. We know who they were. They were just exactly what we said they were. Remember that? Denny Green? He got fired behind that. They said he was bombastic. He was out of control. I told you they were. What did Biden say? We know who he is. Yeah, he is who he is. No question about that. And Joe is who he is. Listen to Joe. Ooh, did he take a cut? Did he take a cut at the Trump guys? We don't make those chumps out there. You can't make this stuff up. I love it. You can't make this stuff up. But to one of my last clips, and I usually don't play all these clips. You know, I usually download them, but I don't play them. I'm playing them today because I want you to listen to Joe. I want you to listen to what he's saying. Not Charles Butler. Listen to Joe Biden. So Joe says, in this last clip I'm going to play for you, that he's running against George. Seriously. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Shut up. Don't correct me. Don't get involved, Jill. I'm talking here. Help him out, Jill. Don't help me out, Jill. I got it. It's coming. Because it may take me a while, but I got it. Hello. Hey, you guys out there. You guys out there in YouTube land. How you doing? Good to see you. Hello. You know, Michigan played last week. We got the brown jug back. We killed Minnesota. I think this week we have Michigan State. Dun, 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 dun. So I may come on right before the game and do my hail to the victors. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Anyway, I gave you a flavor for Joe Biden. I gave you a flavor for the lies that he said. I have pointed out, and I'm going to point out tomorrow, and I got a guest coming on tomorrow talking about this too. But I'm pointing out tomorrow the difference between Biden and Trump and why we have to re-elect Donald Trump. We need this country to go forward, not backwards. We need this country to open up, not close up. We need someone to stand up to the bureaucrats, not kiss up to the bureaucrats and say that you're smarter than we are, so you know more than we do. Well, they don't. That's the problem. That's part of the problem. So when right now I'm looking at Dylan in this election analyst, I have someone coming on tomorrow. Who is it? It could be, I don't know. But we have a guest coming on tomorrow. We're going to talk about the election. We're going to talk about things that, you know, I hope you can go and talk to other people about at the water cooler. We talk about the president's accomplishments, achievements. I can tell you this, though, that Philadelphia is so far out of control. 2 nights of rioting. 2 nights of rioting, and they think tonight may be the third, and the governor's called out the National Guard. Now, they won't arrive in Philadelphia for another day or two. But when they come in, you watch the death rate go up. These are not police people. These are soldiers. Soldiers don't police. They kill people. Simple. So, you know, in this Philadelphia thing, and I, like I said, I really don't know all the details, but I do know this, that It's a dangerous situation. Should those police officers have pulled their guns and shot this man? There may have been an easier way to deal with it. There may have been a non-lethal way to deal with it. But there's an option, and there's an action that they had to take at that particular time. The fact that they didn't have stun guns, the fact that they probably didn't have training in hand-to-hand or disarming a person with a knife. All those things come into play. And the other thing is, who wants to deal with that? Pay attention, obey the cops, obey a command. You can't tell cops what to do. Where do these people get off with thinking they can dictate to a police officer what the hell they're going to do? You can't. Not going to happen. First of all, they're not going to let it happen because their egos are too big. Secondly, they aren't the law. Now, I'm not getting down on the ground and all that crap. That ain't happening. But I believe in following police orders and all that good stuff. Mr. Wallace. They go over here. They say a bystander videotaped and captured the episode in West Philly. Said it was distributed on social media. The video shows Mr. Wallace standing on the sidewalk with two police officers pointing their gun at him. At one point, a woman appeared to try to stop Mr. Wallace as he crossed the street. Officers fired several shots when he reemerged onto the street from between two parked cars and walked toward them. A policeman said the officers ordered Mr. Wallace to drop the knife before they fired their guns. Wow. They each fired 7 rounds at him. That's 14 bullets. Police inspector said he didn't know how many bullets had struck Mr. Wallace. Mr. Vano said he received a call about a man who was screaming and armed with a knife. At a news conference Tuesday, Shaka Johnson, a lawyer for the Wallace family, said Mr. Wallace had mental health problems and was taking lithium under a doctor's care. The man was suffering. When you come to a scene where there's somebody in a mental crisis and the only tool you have to deal with is a gun, that's a problem. Wow. Powerful. We'll see what happens. It's really horrible that this young man's life was taken. I don't know if it was justified. We'll see. We'll see what the people think. We'll see what you think. We'll look at the videos together. It just pains me that, you got 2 cops here too who had to shoot a man. They didn't want to shoot that man. They probably grew up wanting to help people. They didn't want to, but they wanted to go home to their families. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and it's just too bad that it happened. That's all I'm saying. And I hope that it's worked out, and I hope that it didn't look like it was a shooting just to be shooting. So hopefully the officers can keep their job and they don't have any serious issues in terms of regrets and psychological problems. That's where I am with that for the time being. What we do need to talk about is this guy, Keith Raniere. The judge sentenced him to 120 years in prison. 120 years. Called him, he said he had a self-described a sex cult. He was sentenced to 120 years in a federal penitentiary. Wow. It ensnared celebrities and business people. And the Brooklyn jury convicted Keith Raniere, now 60 years old, on federal charges racketeering, sex trafficking, forced labor, and wire fraud. Oof. In June of 2029, after a trial where prosecutors detailed wide-ranging abuse and sexual exploitation of women. Wow. I tell you, some people, I guess they're a little slow, a little weak-minded maybe, huh? But that's what we have to talk about. I'm looking forward to the election. I can tell you this, wherever Joe Biden is in the era of margin, that's a Trump state. If they say it's within the era of margin, all I can say is look out. That is a Trump victory waiting to happen. We're going to have a little compared to what here in a second, because we're getting ready to segue out of the hour. And it's been fun. It's been great being with you. That's all I can say. It's always great being with you guys. You keep me busy, keep me on my toes, and hope that I left you with something you can go and take back to your friends and family and say, we got to vote for that man, Donald Trump. Okay, got to make it real. Compared to what?